When he turned his back from shoulder to shoulder, it looked like as wide as the tailgate of a truck.
And just darkness, literal darkness, just came like all over, just all over me except where I was standing.
This thing let out the most blood-curdling, mind-blowing, spine-tingling scream that you've ever heard in your life, and it cut through me like a knife.
And I knew that they were going to take me. I just knew it. And then the next thing I can remember is being levitated.
Well, when I look in there, I see two big eyes staring back at me.
Hello and welcome. You're listening to the Bump Podcast, a place for the believers of the unexplained, monsters, and paranormal. Join us, and we'll go face to face with what goes bump in the night. Hey there, believers. We got a good show today. I guess I say that every time, but I like all these shows, so why not? Today I'm bringing on a guest that I met through Instagram, and he goes by Wayne Flame. And Wayne Flame is going to let us know about a Bigfoot sighting that he's had before. I'm not sure what else we might get into. There might be more than one account. There might be, some paranormal stuff that he wants to go into as well. I'm not really sure. I saw in a comment section on a post, just scrolling through that he had an encounter. So I reached out to him, I hollered at him, and he jumped right on it. And I'm excited to bring him on. Let's see what we have to say. Okay, let's do it.
Are we on?
Yep.
We got it. Okay, I hit got it because it said meeting in progress. So here I am. I'm Wayne the Flame. I was asked by this Bigfoot gentleman to do the show today, and I'm here, and I'm not here to lie to anybody. I'm just here to give my experience on a few situations I've had in my life. One of them being Bigfoot. And the house I live in here was built in the 20s. I've had some spiritual activity here, shutters open and closing on their own. I had a cabinet day before yesterday in my kitchen open and slam on its own. And to witness that firsthand, you go, whoa, okay. The theory of life and death is not the way it's pointed out to when we're done, we're done. No, there's something after that. I've learned through my studies that the spirit weighs 21 grams, 3/4 of an ounce. And I had a post the other day on where a deer dropped and the spirit left the thing. I deleted it because it wasn't doing very well. I put stuff on there, and if it doesn't do real well, I delete it.
Yeah. So
I'm not cluttered up with the site with a bunch of crap no one's watching. But yeah, I love your show. I love what you're doing, man. I'm a firm believer. I've come in contact up in Washington on Route 6. We were going from Coast Highway to 5 to go to the brewery in Olympia. We were both 20 years old. We were almost 21. It was in July, and I was going to be 21 in August. But we were going to go through the Olympia brewery and see if we could drink some free beer. And so I was with a fairly famous drag racer in the Harley industry, and we were riding up to Canada on our bikes from SoCal. I live in SoCal, Southern California, and we were heading up to Canada. We were going to do a little easy rider thing and be gone a month. Well, anyway, we were leaving Coast Highway to go over to 5 on highway. It wasn't even a highway; it was a 2-lane road, 6. And we stopped about 2-3 in the morning to put on our jackets because we were hitting hot and cold pockets in the mountains. It gets warm for a while, then it gets freezing cold. So you really had a tough time regulating your body temperature. But anyway, we pulled over out in the middle of nowhere, and all of a sudden we just heard this. I go, whoa, is that a bear or what, Tom? And he goes, I don't know, man. So we heard that for a little bit. And finally I hit my headlights on the key switch on my bike. And I had a headlight, and I turned it across the street, 2-lane road, up this little, about a 40 foot embankment. And this big old thing was standing up there upright, arms down at its side, pretty blackish brown. I couldn't tell because it was dark, but my headlights were on it. I hit it square in the face with my headlight, and it just started giving the loudest growl ever. And we didn't get the vibe like it was going to attack us. We just got the vibe like, all right, your bikes, we were riding choppers, and your bike's making a lot of noise. You're pissing me off, so get the hell out of here. So we both stared at it for about 40, 45 seconds, maybe up to a minute. And we just looked at each other and go, man, we got to go. This is crazy. So we hit our headlight, hit our key switch, kicked it over and took off. And we got down the road and pulled over. I go, did you see what I saw, Tom? He goes, well, yeah, but I'm not going to cop to it. He says, I'll blow my credibility, because he had 8 national records in drag racing, and he was looked at as a pretty normal guy. And so he didn't want to start spewing Bigfoot. This was 1970. So we're talking 51 years ago, back when it was like, you saw what? You saw a UFO? You're out of your mind. Those things aren't existing. But anyway, to make a long story short, he didn't have my back on. He goes, oh, it was probably a bear or something for the 45 years, he said that. And then about 5 years ago, we were just hanging out, bullshitting. And he goes, hey, dude, I saw what you saw. I said, oh, you're going to finally come clean and cop to it? He goes, yeah. He says, you know my situation. So I said, yeah, I wouldn't have said it either if I was in your shoes. So, yeah, it was cool. He finally realized, it said, came clean. Yeah, I saw it, dude. It exists.
Man.
So anyway,
Well,
that's
Wayne,
where that's at on that story.
let me ask you, man, what did it look like? How tall was
It's like
it?
all these pictures, you know, that Giblin film that they took, the famous one where it's running along that creek bed there in Cottonwood, or not Cottonwood, but up there.
Bluff Creek.
Yeah, Willow Creek, that area. That's where they're at. I mean, there's a lot of them up in there.
Yeah.
And where we were at on Route 6, go up there and hang out between Coast Highway and 5. Oh, you're out in the middle of nowhere in some places, and yeah, perfect country for it. A lot of water. The temperature's not too bad. A lot of trees. Plus, I think they can dematerialize when they want. So they come and go. I think this is their little vacation place. I want to go hang out there for a week. Okay. Yeah, you could spend a week there again, because they dig it.
Yeah.
I mean, where else in the universe is there anything like this? Probably. We haven't found anything yet, but I think they come here like that Chewbacca on Star Wars, that big Chewbacca. That's what it is. Same thing. It's an extraterrestrial thing that hangs out here because they can.
Well, when you saw it, you say you think it dematerializes and stuff, and you know, that's a lot of people think that. A lot of people believe that. Did it materialize in front of you guys, or did it step out into the highway, or was it just there when you rode up?
No, it was up on an embankment on the edge, where if it would have took a step forward, it would have probably rolled down the embankment. Oh, wow. And it was standing out, because when I heard the noise, we heard the growl, and then I hit my headlights on, and it was there. It was in the direction where we heard the noise coming from. So it was pretty cool. Let us sit there and look at it for a minute, and it growled and like, get the hell out of here. But it was patient. Yeah. I mean, it could have killed us. Those things are strong, and they are big. They are 8-10 foot tall. When we saw, from what I guess was 8 to 10 foot tall, 700 pounds, 800 pounds.
Man, that's huge.
I loved it. I loved that sight, seeing that. And it was changed my life. I'm like, okay, there's no BS to this. It's real. Yeah, believe it. There's too much going on to be all BS. No, it's just like people that see UFOs and get abducted. I totally believe that. I believe we were genetically modified, colonized here on this planet. That's another one of my big subjects, is UFOs and extraterrestrial and that type of thing. Reincarnation and ghosts and everything that's unanswered and interesting. I'm into it.
Yeah, same here, man. I'm glad you're on here, brother, because I like the same kind of stuff. I
spent 6 years in Vegas. I lived in Vegas for 6 years, and I used to shoot on this pool league. And there was this guy on the league. I'm not going to mention his name, but he was retired. He wore a straw hat, black guy, about 6'1", and he was on our league. And we would go tour bars and play for money. And so and he was on my team. And so we introduced ourselves, and I said, yeah, I'm Wayne, blah, blah, blah. He said he was so-and-so. So anyway, over the years, we got to know each other. And it had been told to me in the beginning, Don't ask him anything about UFOs or extraterrestrial. He's retired from Area 51. He was a electromagnetic propulsion scientist and doing reverse engineering and stuff. And but I didn't know that at the time. And I did a little more investigation. I was at Area 51 a couple times and talked with Glenn Campbell. He's the Area 51 research guy, lead guy out there. I think he's a plant from the government, to be honest with you, because I spent the day out there talking to him and different people out there. When I got home, my phone told me to back off. I got a phone call when I was walking in the door. It said, Mr. So-and-so, back off, please. Thank you. And I was like, whoa. They had my plate. They ran it. They had me. They knew my number. They knew everything to find out who I was. Because I was out there running my mouth. I said, I know what's going on out there. Jesus Christ. A rocket scientist doesn't have to sit down and try and think this one out. We're playing with extraterrestrial technology that we found at Roswell and different crashes, and we're hiding it. We don't want the world to know what we know, period. And I can understand that. So if I was in their shoes, I'd probably do the same thing. But anyway, to make a long story short, I spent 6 years out there, and I was 5 years shooting with this gentleman, and I was coming back to California because I had a family thing going on and had to leave. And I said, well, hey, it was nice knowing you. You know, I enjoyed your company. You know, we got along good. He trusted me then. And I said, but before I leave, you know, there's one question I've got to ask you. And he said, yeah, I figured that was coming eventually. And so I said, don't even answer me. I took a Kino crayon and because everywhere there's Kino there. I took a napkin. I wrote yes on it. I wrote no on it. And I laid the crayon in the middle of this napkin. And he says, what's your question, Wayne? And I said, are we playing with extraterrestrial technology at 51? And he looked at me for probably 30, 45 seconds. And then he picked up the crayon. He circled yes. He took the napkin, ripped it up, and stuck it in his pocket. So it was totally no verbal, no. He circled yes. And I had goosebumps for 20 minutes walking home because I'd been drinking. And so I walked to the bar, you know, to shoot that day. Yeah. And it was close enough to my house. So yeah, I go down there, drink some beer, and have a good time. And to see somebody circle yes that was there and knows what's going on, it's like beyond, okay, got it. I'm done with that subject. I know we're not alone.
Wow.
So,
wow.
That was a beautiful story. You know, Vegas is a good place to go if you're into extraterrestrial investigating, because a lot of people work there. A lot of people work at 51. They fly in and out every day from McCarran. Yeah. And they go cash their checks at this bar I used to go to. It was over on Decatur, and right offhand, I forget the name. I'm getting old. I forget the names of was the something. I can't remember it anyway. But the people would come in, they cash their check, they get a free roll of quarters, and play and eat. You know, eat cheap. So Friday they'd come cash their checks, and and they would come in there and hang out for a little while. But there was people standing at the door watching, black suits. I'm not going to get too out there and say they're men in black, but they really were in black suits, pencil ties, white shirts. They'd stand by the door monitoring the room so these people that come in don't get drunk and start running their mouth. And I believe they can monitor the conversation because they're advanced from us. If you really want to go out on a limb, yeah. I think they're men in black that escort them to cash their checks because their lives are totally monitored. Oh, yeah. There's no free phone calls for them. When you sign up for that job, you give all your privacy away. Phones are monitored. Your cell phone is issued by the government, and you do not have any freedom left to talk, basically, because you will be heard. But anyway, they come in and do that, and to see that was pretty cool too. But you don't go up to them and start talking about extraterrestrial. No, you'll get thrown out of there real quick. Right. But I knew from other people, yeah, they come cash your checks at forget the name of it. I had a palm tree out front. I knew it up till recently. Shit, I hate not knowing what it is. But anyway, it's irrelevant. Yeah, that was a pretty cool story too. Yeah, man, no doubt. We used to go sit on the side of Sunrise Mountain, and me and this lady I used to hang out with, her name was Nancy. She'd bring a 6-pack, 12-pack over where we go, hey, you want to go to Sunrise? Yeah, okay, we'll go up to Sunrise Mountain and just watch these things fly back and forth from Groom Lake to 51 or to Sunrise Mountain. If you ever want to go watch UFOs flying around, go to Sunrise Mountain in the evening and go sit up there, and beautiful view of the valley and everything. But they dart from Area 51 to Sunrise Mountain because it's about 90 miles. and they can make it there in a matter of maybe 2-3 seconds. They just shoom, they'll hover and then they'll go back. It's their test flight pattern area there from Groom Lake to Sunrise Mountain, because there's nothing there, and they can just fly and go back and forth real quick. But it's beautiful to see. If you're ever in Vegas, go to Sunrise Mountain and you'll see something.
Absolutely will.
It's on the east side of Las Vegas. Sunrise Mountain is a big mountain there.
So what's flying those UFOs on these in that pattern? Is it us? Are we reverse engineering?
I think a lot of these sightings we're seeing now is our technology, because we've had years and years and years to work on it, reverse engineer a lot of these anti-gravity devices that we found in some of our. Roswell was just one of the crashes. There's been more than. They've had them in England. They've had them around the world, where electrical storms and stuff caused them to get. I think they run off of radiation or electricity of some sort and generate their own power. But I believe that they're watching us. They're here. They've been here before us also, but they're giving us tidbits of technology in trade for abduction, so they can create the space hybrid space races and colonize other places.
Man,
they are Adam and Eve. They are the Adam and Eve extraterrestrials.
So
there is a God. Don't get me wrong. I believe in God. I'm not here as some atheist nut.
Right.
No, there's a God that created the atom, the molecule, the electrons, neutrons to make up mass, which we are mass.
Yeah.
And with a 21-gram spirit that guides this vessel.
Man.
And reincarnation's real big time.
Man, you throw so much at me just now. I love it.
You want to hear another crazy story, a near-death deal? Guy named
man.
Jay. His name's Jay Ecoff. His mom, Karen Ecoff, is a good friend of mine. And she knew I was into that. She goes, well, Jay died when he was about 15. And I said, really? What from? She goes, he was sniffing gas and had a heart attack. He was into drugs and alcohol, sniffing gas and smoking weed and all this and that. Well, anyway, he's 15. He was sniffing some gas, went into cardiac arrest. So anyway, the ambulance picked him up, took him to the hospital. He was clinically dead for about 21 minutes, 22 minutes, had the printout. He showed it to me that day because you probably won't believe me, but the flat line. Well, anyway, they pushed him out into a hallway. He came back to life, but I said, what was your experience like? Did you see? Oh my God, he's just unreal. And I said, really, what happened? And he goes, well, I normally don't talk about it, but his mom made him. His mom said, just tell him, Jay. I said, all right. He said, okay. So anyway, he died and he met with Jesus and some other guy, one of those white sheep herder guys with the cane and all that. He said, Jesus told me, I don't want you. I want nothing to do with you. You're not done. You need to go back, clean up your act and amount to something, or I'm going to ship you to hell. And basically, I want nothing to do with you. You're not coming here. You're going back. You're going to do it right. Well, anyway, he came back and cleaned up his act, was in charge of the school district's computer network because he's a real techie. And did that, had 2 kids, had a marriage, went to church, quoted the Bible, and turned his life around. So I scared him straight.
Yeah, that would scare me to death too. If Jesus told me he didn't want nothing to do with me, I think I would change my act too, man.
That's right. So we do answer for our transgressions here on earth. I mean, there's a thing called karma, but karma is God. Okay.
Man.
And God does seek justice.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
That's where reincarnation, I think, comes into play. You come back until you do it right, whether it be here, India, with flies flying around your face. I wouldn't want to be O.J. Simpson's spirit. But he's going to wind up with flies around him in Bangladesh. To see that side of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my belief on that one.
Man. Well, Wayne, let me walk you back to this Bigfoot encounter real quick, and I want to jump up to these aliens at 51 again too. When you saw it and it was growling at you, what did its face look like? Can you remember like any details to the face, or did it look human, or did it was just
like a hair? There wasn't a lot of hair on the face. I mean, there was some human to it. I mean, if a hunter shoots one of those, he's going to be killing a part human type thing, because it's not an animal. It just looks different. And the face just had its eyes. It didn't have a real angry look. It was just, just doing that, making that. I duplicate it because I play music and I can hit the right note. But yeah, that's what it sounded like. And when I watch those Bigfoot shows, those shows on Bigfoot, catching Bigfoot, I think that lady scientist, they're about the best. Mountain monsters, they're the worst because that's all totally scripted.
Yeah.
But the lady that's on that catching Bigfoot, whatever it is, they were up in the mountains for weeks and months. She's a primate specialist. Nice looking lady. But anyway, I believe they're the most credible show.
Yeah. Man. So you said that you think Bigfoot or ET, and we got these aliens here and they're abducting people for their hybrid experiments. Do you think that Bigfoot is the product of that? Do you think that Bigfoot is an alien human hybrid? Maybe. I mean, if it has,
I think at one time everything was, except maybe the little grays or whatever they want to call them. I think they were some sort. They're machines because they couldn't do those G forces if they weren't. They're little machines in there with a wrap on it, and they're not human. That's how they can time travel. That's how they can do anti-gravity speeds that man would just cave in on with the G force.
Yeah. No,
they're a highly genetically modified entity. I don't want to call it life. I don't want to call it. I don't think they die. I don't think they get old. I don't think they get sick. I think they're perfect for traveling, and they don't age. I mean, we got to change our methods if we're going to do any travel, or find out that wormholes are time and we can bend time and play with that and go from one side of the galaxy to the other in a matter of minutes. Then we may be able to swim. But the way we are genetically made up, no, we can't do time travel. No, we would have heart attacks. We have a heart. They don't.
Right.
That's where artificial intelligence is going to do a lot of our space travel. Basically, Elon Musk is talking to artificial intelligence is going to run the world. He said that might be scary, but he says they are smarter than we are, which I'll give him credit for that. Anything smarter than we are after witnessing that pandemic and the rioting and looting and burning shit down. It's like, whoa, is this what man's all about?
Yeah.
Rude eye opener to me, nor do they want nothing to do with us. I wouldn't either.
Yep. It's been a rough year and a half, ain't it, man?
Oh, dude, you don't even want to go there with me. I'm so disgusted with humanity. I feel sorry for the other countries that can't get the vaccine. And here now in California, guess what Newsom, our governor, wants to do? If you go get a vaccinated shot, he'll give you a free joint. Free marijuana for getting vaccinated. But yet they're begging for the vaccine in other countries. So what does that tell you about our dumbass?
Wow.
We got to bribe Americans to take something that might potentially save their life and bribe them with weed. That was a joke. Now with this new mask mandate, I know we're totally insane in Cali. Totally insane.
Hey, California does their own thing, man.
Oh, dude, it's the most nauseating place I've seen in a long, long time. We got homeless. I live in a sanctuary city. I'm not down on immigration. Okay. I think we all, if I was president, I'd tear down all the borders. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'd make one big badass nation from Canada down to South America. We would be one united bunch of people using each other's resources and flushing all these immigration dollars down the drain that we're losing, just like the war on drugs. We lost, give up, move on. The law, immigration, we lost, give up, move on. So make it one big badass nation. The whole planet would fear us.
You know what?
You think China would mess with us if we were Canada, U.S., and Mexico? No. No.
I think I'd give you my vote, Wayne. If you run for president, buddy, you got my support, man.
I had a big shot with a retired teacher guy. He was a business manager for the teachers union. He goes, dude, you want to run for president? I think I can get you some money. My campaign slogan will be tear down that effing wall. Instead of Reagan saying, doing his, I was going to do it my way. I think I'd get some votes because, it would be one universal currency. We wouldn't have the devaluation of Mexican pesos. We'd have it'd be one beautiful nation eventually.
Yeah.
It may not be, but it would be by the time we got it all ironed out.
I've had that conversation with people before too, about how if we would just absorb Mexico, you know what I mean? We'd be able to force out, you know, the child trafficking and all that kind of stuff, you know, if they ever really
Of
want to
course.
focus on getting rid of that.
Of course. Couldn't
And
agree with you more.
have a beautiful, you know, how beautiful Mexico could be if we just get it, you know, up to par. You know, that
Right.
would be good for everybody.
We'll never get rid of corruption because we can't get rid of our own.
Exactly. That's a fact. That's a fact. Oh man. All right. Well, let me cause I could talk conspiracy theories all the time, man. I like to go on other shows to do that, and then my show I'll just keep it about Bigfoot and UFOs. But by the way, do you listen to Cheney and Wonderland? Project Cheney?
No, I don't do any podcast. I don't listen to anything. I don't do it. I post a few things on my Instagram site, and that's the only thing I have to do with internet or any communication.
Oh man, because there's a couple of podcasts I think you would love. But one would,
Oh, I'm sure there are. I'm missing a lot. I know.
yeah, man. There you are. It blipped out on me there for a second, but you're back. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm here.
Good. All right. So tell me more about these ghosts, you know, in your house from the 1920s. The house was built, right? And you've had activity over the last few years or all your life.
We were jamming one night here, and the kid singer, I played with a kid named Patrick Carrico for a long time. Yeah, he moved to Albuquerque, was playing out in Nashville and the South and all that, and wanted to leave California to go out and see something new. Anyway, he came back but anyway, at one time we were jamming here one night before he left, and he come back in. He looks all pale. I go, "What's going on?" He says, "There's somebody standing down in your hall. Some old man or something there. I just saw him. He was like pasty pale white." Oh, that's just somebody that's hanging out for a little. Probably likes the music.
Wow.
But yeah, he saw it. So yeah, it's going on. Claremont's got a lot of haunted houses. There's a park across the street, Memorial Park in Claremont, and it has a big old house out in the middle of it. It was an orange grove at one time, and then they gave the park away and the house away to the city. So the city but the cops don't even go there when the alarm goes on. Oh, it's just the ghost. It's just the ghost. The Garner house. Yeah, very, very haunted. The cops don't even go check out the alarm will go on and on and on. It's just the ghost. It goes off eventually. It was like, cool.
That's like I just had an interview last night. It'll probably air the week before this one, and a guy had a similar story about. Well, he was in a haunted asylum, and somebody had called him for trespassing. So the cops show up, and he's up there, you know, telling them that he's going to have him arrested on the spot, you know, for
Right.
breaking and entering and all this and that. And then all of a sudden, these lights that they had set up, you know, to talk to the spirits and stuff started flickering on and off, and you could see a shadow and stuff going by. And they said that cop just turned around and said, "Well, I see that you're not doing anything that bad, so have a good night, and I'll talk to you later." And he turned around and ran out of there.
Me and my sister were going for a walk one night. We used to ride the bus and then walk home, you know, when summer, a nice night, you know, we'd ride the bus to Glendora or somewhere and just start walking back like 7-8 miles. Anyway, we were walking to the bus stop up on Foothill one night. It was just starting to get dark. It was dusk, you know, and we were standing there waiting for the light to turn green. There was something sitting on the bench where we were going to head to. It looked like somebody in a trench coat with it pulled over him, bent over, hunched over to roll a joint or something. I figured they were rolling a joint under a trench coat is what it was, and didn't want to be seen. And so my sister goes, "That's weird." It was just a dark black mass with that outline of a human being, but covered with like I said, a coat. So we were walking across the street going to figure out. My sister, "Well, I'm not sitting next to it waiting for the bus." I said, "Well, okay, you sit next. I'll sit next to it, and then you can sit on the end." And so we worked out our seating arrangement and all this crap. By the time we got through the intersection, it fell to the ground and just vanished. And it had a heart attack and fell over out of a chair, you know, forward.
Yeah.
And my sister looked at me and I go, "Did you see what I saw, or am I out of my mind?" She goes, "Oh my God." So she ran the rest of the way over to the bench, started looking around, and it was gone. But we both saw it for a good 60 seconds, which was badass.
Wow.
It was a shadow person. Shadow person is what we found out it was.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know anything about it. Back then, I didn't. They said that, you know, they have red eyes. If they look at you, that's not good. But we didn't see a face. It was just a black outline.
Man.
But when it fell forward like it had a heart attack, hit the ground, it just went into the ground. was gone. I was like, whoa! I was right in front of the old schoolhouse, which the schoolhouse is super haunted too. The old Claremont schoolhouse up there, they converted it to offices, and restaurants and that. But it was an old really haunted. The guy that used to own the restaurant up there, his name was John. He used to own this not Buca, it's by Buca de Beppo, but it was a Mexican buffet and restaurant. I used to eat buffet there all the time, lunch, because it was like $7.99 all you can eat. Beautiful spread. And so we were talking about ghosts one night. And his wife goes, "Tell him what your experience was." He goes, "No, honey, I don't want to think I'm crazy." Like, come on, John, tell me. I don't. I live in a haunted house. He goes, "Well, this little old man come walking in one night. I was stocking the bar, and they were going to have a party here for a class reunion for that school, like a 50-year reunion or whatever." And everybody was coming in. They were all old then. Yeah. And he goes, this little old man came shuffling in with his hands behind his back, kind of bent over a little bit, hunched over, had his hands behind his back, crossed, and came up, says, "How's it going? Are you busy?" "Oh, good, good." And he says, "How are you?" "Oh, I'm just here looking around." Anyway, he went back to work, and the guy left. And so anyway, later on that night during the party, John mentioned to one of the guys, "Yeah, somebody that used to work here came by before the party started. I haven't seen him." They go, "Who's that?" And he goes, "I don't know, some little old guy that walked around with his hands behind his back." "Oh, well, that's so-and-so. He died, though. How's he?" And John went, "Whoa, God." So then he didn't go into any more. But yeah, he was dead. He was a little school teacher that used to teach these guys. Now they grew up for the reunion. He came back just to look around.
Man, how do you think?
And everything. Yeah, that was crazy. I love that story.
Yeah, man. How do you think that stuff happens? Like, how do our spirits get, kind of stuck here, or is it a choice you think after we die?
I would think. I don't. If you're reincarnated, your spirit's gone somewhere else.
Right.
So
right.
I would think your ghost wouldn't be around anymore, and so what I think is that you can maybe come into our realm or come into maybe we're living, like they said, a fabric of time, different fabrics. Einstein talked about that, relativity and all the time, whatever. It's beyond me because I'm not that bright.
Yeah.
But
like everything's happening at once, right?
I think maybe you can do more things than we can do here in our consciousness. Put it that way. Maybe you're on a different realm or something. But that's a good question. I have no idea.
Yeah. I try to think about that kind of stuff all the time. And at this point, I'm kind of of the mindset, which I might change my mind tomorrow, who knows? But right now I think that, we have a spirit and we have a soul. And I think they're two different things. I think our soul is tethered to God, and that's what we reincarnate with. And we, go through until judgment. I think our spirit is our physical energy here on earth. And that energy never ceases, right? So it kind of goes on forever. And
right.
And does that energy manifest into a what looks like a physical person? I don't know, maybe. But I'm just trying to make sense of it all, man. I don't know.
My grandfather, when he was dying, he was on his deathbed. I was there to say goodbye to him because he was the closest thing to a dad I ever had. My parents divorced when I was little. And he took me under his wing as like my dad. Anyway, when he was dying, I said, "Grandpa, come back and give me a message somehow. That's one thing I want you to promise me. When you die, you will come back and let me know you're not dead." And so he never did come back and let me know he wasn't dead. But when he was dying, he was holding my two fingers. He had his hand around my fingers, my 2 or 3 fingers on my hand. And I said, "Grandpa, are you there? Are you there?" And he would squeeze my hand a little bit. So he wasn't dead. And I said, do you see anything cool? Is there anything you're seeing at all? I said, are you witnessing anything other than this? If so, squeeze my hand. Well, he squeezed my hand twice and then basically passed that night. But he never came back conscious, but to have him squeeze my hand twice, like something he was witnessing, was pretty cool.
Man. I guess we won't know till we get there, will we?
No, unless you talk to people and have faith and believe what they tell you, like Jay Ekoff's story, like him dying and meeting with Jesus. And no, this isn't all there is. I mean, I have faith enough to believe it.
Oh, I do.
I believe that.
Yeah, I believe that
So,
for
I
sure.
mean, I like believing that more than, okay, you get one shot at it. If you screw up, you're done. You'll never get another chance at life. I don't like that part of it. So I won't believe that.
Yeah, me neither. You know, I think we come back until the end, you know, until Judgment Day. We get chance after chance to figure this out and to get Christ-like. And then, you know, we'll have to pay the piper if we don't, you know, get our shit straight by then. You know?
Yeah, I think you get a few chances because, like they say in the Bible, God makes no mistakes.
That's right.
So if God makes no mistakes, then all of us are, in his eyes, not a mistake.
That's right. That's right.
I mean, if you dig that deep into the Bible,
Yeah.
you know,
We're here for a reason, right?
just like the pyramids. Anybody that thinks man made those is nuts.
All right.
Nuts.
Where'd they come from? Where'd we get these two?
I think extraterrestrials helped them, and I think they had something to do with some anti-gravity going on to lift those big blocks up that high up. And if you notice, the tops of them are flat for landing pads, and they were building them all around the world with no communication back there. They had them in Mexico, and they have them, you know, all over the world. Pyramids. So how, if they didn't have internet to compare notes, how were they all doing the same thing?
Yeah. Good question.
Answer that. Then I'll say, okay, you're right. We are alone.
Well, it is great talking to you. You and I are on the same wavelength, I think, man.
Of course.
This is awesome. Well, are there any other stories that you want to dive into? Anything about these Area 51?
Right off the top of my head, no. I just want everybody out there to know that hey, if there's doubt in their mind, go ahead, keep it. I don't care. I don't care what people believe, and I don't care if they believe me. I'm not on this program today to convince anybody of anything.
Amen.
I'm just telling you what I see and what I saw and what I believe. So you can believe anything you want. I mean, and we all have our own free will, freedom of brain, freedom of thought. So no, I'm not for downing anybody that disagrees, but I have some good questions I'd love to ask them. You know, if they believe in the burning bush and Adam and Eve were the first two people here and incest is bad. Yeah, Adam and Eve could get it on. And the Virgin Mary didn't have a baby, but she had Jesus because she never got impregnated by a man. I mean, okay, that's cool. If you want to believe that, go for it.
Those are good questions.
Yeah. The Virgin Mary, how's a virgin, but you have birth to a son that's the God? Is he God or son of God? There's my question. One day there he say he's God, the next day he's a son of God. Make up your mind.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people
I believe Jesus was extraterrestrial, if you want to know the truth.
Do you?
I think he came down here, did some crazy cool stuff, and helped us out in a lot of ways back then, and split, came back, had their dinner with them, or whatever they had, the Last Supper afterwards or whatever. I'm not sure if that was before he was crucified or afterwards, because I'm not that deep into it. But I believe he came and went, and yeah, he's still here with us in spirit.
Yeah.
Whatever he was, whoever he was. I mean, they can quote what he said word for word verbatim. Ask him to tell you what he looked like. Well, I don't know. Yet I know what he said word for word, but I can't tell you what he looked like. That's a little BS if you want to get down to it.
Wayne, I like you, man. You don't worry about the details. You worry about the big pictures.
I don't worry about what people think. That's the blessed part of my life.
Yes, that makes life better, don't it? When you can finally, you know, I've just hit that age. You know, I'm in my 40s now. I start worrying less about how I'd come off to other people and just start doing my own journeys. You know what I mean? I got my own questions.
Bless you. That's why you're happier. Probably you got a smile on your face.
Oh yeah.
It's a big load off your shoulders if you're not worrying about what people think.
That's it, brother. That's it. That's the truth.
That destroys people with worrying about what people think.
Yep.
Terrible thing. Shed it. Get rid of it, people. Live your life for you, because you're the only one that you have to answer to is you. So have a good time, man. Enjoy yourself. Don't screw people over. You'll have good karma.
Amen.
Get a good night's sleep every night. Drink plenty of water. Eat right. Shit, you'll live to be as old as me. I'm 68 and I take no meds, okay? No meds for nothing. Blood pressure, diabetes, none of that.
You don't look 68 at all. Not even
I don't
close.
Feel it. I feel better now than when I was 40 because my head was up my ass back then. now I can breathe and laugh and go, oh, screw what they think. I don't care.
I love it. Hey, tell everybody where they can find you at on Instagram. Tell them about Wayne the Flame, your hats.
There's my hat, WTF in the flesh. You can see that.
Yep.
There you go. Beautiful. Nice line of hats. I'm not pushing hats because I'm not willing to deal with all that shipping and stuff. But a few people I've sent hats to, they love them.
Awesome.
And I'm Wayne the Flame on Instagram. So that's where I am. That's my legal name, and proud of it.
That's your legal name is Wayne the Flame?
Yeah, I changed it legally about 5 years ago.
I love it, man. That is so cool.
I was always Wayne, but I flamed my arms and I got legs, my back's done. And Nicholas Knack on Instagram. Go to Nicholas Knack if you want to see a badass tattoo artist at Nicholas Knack. He's Nick Knack, but Nicholas Knack on Instagram. Badass artist, badass tattoo artist. He's done my whole body, cleaned up my arms because I had some nitwit start doing some flames on me. Checked them all out. So I begged Nick Knack. I didn't know him at the time. I go, dude, please help me. I'll owe you. I'll owe you. Because why don't I fix other people's shitty work? And he did it for me. And I said, hey, dude, I love you, man. You got my legs, arms, back, anywhere you want to do. So 15 years later, I'm done.
And let me tell you, that back piece.
Original.
That is amazing. I love that back piece. If people go onto Instagram for one thing today, I wanted to go look at Wayne the Flame's back.
I'm getting chased by aliens in my hot rod. One of them smoking a joint, the other one's playing a sax, the other one's coming in on me to abduct me.
It's awesome, man.
I love that one. That's a great piece.
I love it. Well, Wayne, if you have anything else that comes up, man, anything pops in your head, you know how to get a hold of me. We talk all the time.
Right on. I kept you in my phone as kind of like a contact. So
yes, sir.
You're in good shape with me, dude.
All right, brother. Hey, well, thanks for coming on, man. And I'll put this out in a couple of weeks and I'll send you a link to it so you can listen to it.
Okay. Good luck to you, brother. Have fun.
Later.
Bye-bye.